Thủy Vân xin trân trọng gửi lời chào quý khán thính giả đang đến với chương trình Math in 10 trên đài SaigonTV 57.5. Và kính thưa quý vị, trước hết Thủy Vân xin được giải thích tại sao lại là có tên Math in 10, nghĩa là toán trong vòng 10 phút. Thời lượng của chương trình sẽ chỉ là 10 phút và trong vòng 10 phút thì Thủy Vân sẽ cố gắng giải thích hoặc ôn lại một số những cái kiến thức, những cái khái niệm về toán từ lớp 6 cho tới lớp 12, những cái khái niệm mà các em thường gặp khó khăn nhất, thường gặp nhầm lẫn nhất. Và cũng đồng thời qua chương trình này Thủy Vân hy vọng rằng sẽ giúp được quý khán thính giả, quý vị phụ huynh học sinh sẽ ôn lại những kiến thức cũ của mình đã cách đây nhiều năm, cùng ôn lại và cùng học toán chung với các em. Một vấn đề là vì chương trình sẽ là dạy toán cho các em từ lớp 6 tới lớp 12, cho nên Thủy Vân xin được phép nói tiếng Anh trong số chương trình còn lại. Những cái ý kiến đóng góp, những cái câu hỏi, những cái thắc mắc, những cái nhầm lẫn mà các em thường hay gặp trong quá trình học toán của mình thì Thủy Vân rất là mong muốn nhận được những cái email, những cái Facebook message, những cái tin nhắn trên Facebook, cũng như là những tin nhắn qua điện thoại hoặc là những cú điện thoại từ quý khán thính giả qua những cái phương tiện liên lạc của Thủy Vân bằng cách địa chỉ email là math.in.10@gmail.com, cũng như là số điện thoại liên lạc là 949 328 7135, cũng như là trong cái thời đại văn hóa điện tử hiện nay thì facebook.com/mathin10 cũng là một cách thức mà liên lạc với Thủy Vân một cách trực tiếp. Và tất cả những cái câu hỏi mà liên quan về toán thì Thủy Vân xin phép được sử dụng trong những chương trình sắp tới. Và okay, so guys, let's get started. So the first thing that I would like to go over today is some mistake that you guys make all the time. Absolute value. But guess what? We don't have absolute value by itself. Absolute value has to be of something, right? So absolute value in this case of a number. All right, let's start with definition, because to me, when you learn math, you learn a new language. And guess what? To learn a new language, it's best to stick to the definition. So what is absolute value of a number? He sounds like he's rusty, right? So let's give him another chance. Okay, so what is absolute value of a numbers again?
The number itself.
You know what? He's not the only one, okay? It's been a long time probably for him, or it's probably just last week for you guys. But this is what I see as a mistake that you guys make most of the time. Like, I see absolute value of 2. Oh, by the way, absolute notated by the 2 bar around a number. Well, and then what is absolute of -2? And this is what I see. I see absolute value of 2 is -2. And then absolute value of -2 is 2. Well, there is one right and one wrong answer. And the correct answer, in my opinion, is by luck. Because you guys think that absolute value is something to change the sign of a number. Is it? Well, before we move on to the language math, I'd like to touch a little bit on what does it mean by absolute. In the English dictionary, absolute is free from imperfection, means complete, means perfect, means independent. So absolute value means an independent value. What does it mean by independent value of a number? To me, when I think of a number, I always put my number on a number line. Yeah, my number line is kind of slanted, but it's okay. So my number line starts with 0, forward 1, 2, 3, and backward -1, -2, and -3. Now, first of all, I'd like to erase the 2 answers, okay? Because to me, none of them are right. The correct one, like I said, was by luck. Okay, so what is the absolute value of 2? That is the independent value regardless of where the number is. And do you know what it means? It means that absolute value is the distance from the number away from 0. So let's count with me, shall we? Okay, 2 is right here. We got 1, 2. Oh, 2 is 2 units away from 0. So therefore, the absolute value of 2 is 2. Yeah? Now, let's look at negative 2. Regardless of where it is, this is 2. That is negative 2, that is 0. So let's count how far to get from negative 2 to 0. 1, 2. Oh, it's still 2. And that stays true to the meaning of absolute value, meaning absolute value of a number is regardless where it is on a number line. All that matters is the distance from that number to 0. See? From that number to 0 and the distance between them, that absolute value. So, and then you guys are gonna say, well, we might have negative distance. You know, like for example, I'm standing right here. If I go forward, then I'm gonna have a positive distance. But if I go backward, I'm gonna have a negative distance. Smart thinking, not very right though, okay? Nice try guys, but when you walk forward, physically, you cover one step. When you walk backward, well, the directions change. But guess what? You still physically cover positive one step. Okay? So, yeah, that's very nice. I encourage you guys to think different other way. But that's not how it is. All right, guys? So, from now on, every single time you guys see or hear or probably someone whisper in your ears, absolute value of a number, I'd like you guys to react like this. Distance. Yes, distance away from what? From the most important numbers on the number line. 0. Okay? All right. So now let's give that guy another chance. Okay? So now let's see. What is the definition of absolute value of a number?
Isn't absolute value of a number the distance between 0 and the actual number?
At least he got the distance right, okay? We know that absolute value of numbers is a distance away from 0. So let's try some math. Yeah, some equations, because that's all it is about, isn't it? All right, now, so I have something called this. If I have absolute value of x equal to 3. Okay, so the moment I look at this, I like, okay, absolute value of x. Absolute value of x. I mentally draw this pictures out of in my head. So that means that is 0. I don't know what x is, but I know absolute value of x means the distance of this number away from 0 is 3. So, okay, so 0 away from 0 is 3 units. We're gonna have to go 1, 2, 3. That is 3, right? And then, but then it's a distance away from 0, so you have to go forward or backward. So we have 2 directions. So how many numbers is 3 units away from 0? When you draw this one out, you have x gonna be 3 or negative 3. Keep in mind, it has to be 3 or negative 3 because x cannot be both, right? You cannot be 10 years old and 3 years old at the same time, can you? Same concept, okay? All right, before we finished, I would like to give you guys a homework. I would like you guys to try to solve for this for me. 3 times absolute value of x minus 2 equal to 3. Yeah? Keep in mind, okay, absolute value of anything is a distance away from 0. Absolute value of anything is a distance away from 0. And absolute value has to be treated like a lonely guy. A lonely guy doesn't want to have anyone around. So you have to isolate your absolute value all the time before you solve for it. Okay? So the last tip of today's lesson, I would like you guys to always remember absolute value of a number is the distance. Và Thủy Vân xin trân trọng gửi lời chào thân mến đến quý vị phụ huynh, học sinh cũng như là các em đã theo dõi chương trình Math in 10 và xin hẹn gặp lại trong chương trình kỳ sau.